when we last left off, I think that you guys were in the library after your first history class.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's still Thursday. You got one day left of the intro week.
Intro week.
And the boys were planning their grand heist to the Forbidden Section.
Where they released the big bad boy.
The Forbidden Heist.
Yeah, when we really
We're gonna release the antagonist here, boys.
By accident.
Yeah, Cthulhu Voldemort is gonna walk out of the door and just be like, "You guys aren't supposed to be in here."
No, they're just a gargoyle reading a newspaper defending it.
Oh, travelers!
Thanks for getting the staff of Magnus for me.
I'll be taking that.
Oh god.
Can we have a 19th century businessman in a suit and tie?
Boy. The boys have started their campaign.
Oh,
Here comes the subplot of the whole game.
you're going to be dragged into this if you're not careful, boy.
Fuck no, Lehu's not. Lehu's not a part of the boys. You can't drag me into anything.
Yeah, you can't drag me in either, you fuckwits.
I mean, we
I'm going to drag you in.
Okay, yeah. So,
I think the DM's done with us already.
I'm done with you guys. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of splitty split as we cover both arts and crafts class and divination. So if you guys scroll around, eventually you'll find the arts and crafts room and the divination room.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
How convenient for the swapping of.
So convenient.
God damn it.
So convenient.
Here we go.
If you find yourself dying, please mute yourself for the greater good of the audio.
Okay, so Julian and Dante call it heads or tails.
Tails.
Oh.
All right, arts and crafts is first.
Woo!
I meant to say
Alright.
tails, but like I didn't. So fuck.
All right, so you guys are kind of straight into arts and crafts. And at the front of the room is the titular Mr. Cooper. You guys remember him? He led you at the train station.
Sorry, I'm just imagining that picture standing behind the desk now.
I'll just here. Why not?
No.
Oh no.
What's going on? Mr. Cooper.
So
Oh,
big.
he's thick.
All right, so you guys are sort of split up to get to this class. And as you guys walk in, you see that this room is huge. It looks like they basically just knocked out the wall of the next classroom and just kind of made this one into two. It's this enormous room that has all these tables and all these little stools at it, but it seems like the tables are so high up and the stools are so low that it's kind of like a standing encouraged kind of classroom environment. There's not a lot so far of things in the room. There's a huge mirror in one corner. There's a gigantic trunk. There's a singular chalkboard, and then there's a couple tables. And you see that the table that's Mr. Cooper's desk is just cluttered with all these different bits of paper. And he's got a singular easel, not easel, whatever the heck the color thing is.
Palette? Yeah.
Palette, that's the word.
I think it's just a palette.
Fucking Pokemon, I should remember this shit.
What does Pokemon have to do with painting?
Palette time.
Yeah, and then all the towns in the first Pokemon game have to colors.
Oh.
So it's like the cute little thing. Okay, never mind. And a singular paintbrush. And he's just sort of standing there as you guys all sort of waddle in. And everyone just kind of goes and finds their tables. The boys go ahead and sit together. You guys can move around any table you want, but I just kind of picked these at random. And he sort of just stands there for an uncomfortably long amount of time as you guys all walk in. Just staring blankly into space.
Mr. Cooper's fucking dead.
He's dead.
He might not be dead. He might just.
If he's not alive again in the next 15 minutes, then he'll be allowed to leave.
Yep.
Fuck's sake.
Okay, no. So, after a while, he says, "Welcome to arts and crafts." He says, "For our first lesson, everyone get a buddy."
Gale isn't here right now. Ben, you're my buddy.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Need to stop coughing. I can't even do Yodel's fucking voice right now.
Yodel inhaled too much.
There's also like an odd number of people, so someone
Yeah.
doesn't have a buddy.
Can we have Gale and Todd?
Gale and
Yeah, Gale, Todd like does not seem happy about neither does Gale, but they both look at you and they both look at each other and they just kind of sit next to each other.
Liz is already carving her name into the table and shit.
Nah, she's blowtorching her name into it.
Like a branding.
You gotta go the extra mile.
Lord.
He says, "Today we're going to be making friendship bracelets."
Oh, fuck.
Alright.
You guys better make
And,
one for Julian or I'll kick your ass.
We will. Me and Dante will.
And he snaps his fingers, and the paintbrush on the table goes into his hand, and he waves it, and the trunk over sort of the edge of the room flies open, and then out flies like a myriad of strings and beads that just like explodes everywhere and like just lands somehow like impossibly like close, like on top of all the tables in like a very neat and organized manner, when it just kind of like springs out. And he says, "Begin!" And then he sits down.
Begin.
Time to create the.
So you sort of look down at all your beads, and there's like a couple of like multicolored ones, and then there are ones that have letters on them. And for all of the bracelets, I'd like everyone to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Oh god. Thank
I'll
you,
I'll
background.
go ahead and make one for Gale.
Thank you, background.
Alright.
Never mind.
Never mind.
I thought my background was going to help me there with that.
He's there
efficiencies
chewing
inside
the
hands.
beads.
Not knowing the bees or not.
Leslie, go make a sleight of hand check. Yurdle, you got your big ol' turtle hands, and they're really just not meant to pick up such small and tiny things. And so, Yurdle, are you going to spell out any name on the bracelet?
I'm going to try to spell Dante's
Lovely.
name
Oh no.
on the bracelet. Try my best.
What does
Try
it
spell-
actually say?
Tries to spell Dante, spells the boys instead.
It's just
So you go to
door, no
write,
capital.
you go to like put on all the beads that to like say Dante, but the end bead is like so incredibly tiny that you eventually just give up and your bracelet says Dad.
Jesus.
And you just get so frustrated that you just can't put any more beads on it. You just kind of leave it at that. And Dante, what do you make?
I'll ooh. Who should I use the 17 on? Yurdle or Julian?
Put it for
Julian,
your
Julian.
patron, man.
Okay.
What's your
Okay.
patron's name?
So Dante, are you gonna make two?
I mean, if Yurdle can't do it, then but he's got a higher sleight of hand score than I do, so I don't know.
Yeah, that.
Kind of got lucky on this one. I'll do Julian's first.
Okay, so you managed to string together a bunch of really sparkly looking beads, sort of like little gemstone ones, kind of together. The letters that say Julian aren't all the same color, but you like alternate, so it looks pretty.
Ooh.
It looks very nice. Go and write down. You have both of you can go and write down your friendship bracelets in your inventories.
Okay.
You kind of like glance over and you see Alesia has like fashioned this like friendship gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Alesia, do you put a name in it?
Yeah. Though I'm just gonna put it in for you because this name would just sound weird.
Peter. What the fuck?
Okay.
Did you just like slap your keyboard?
No, it's Dutch for glory.
Jesus.
Ah.
All right, Alesia, you're crafting this thing, and you find out that you're actually missing an one E bead.
Is there any beads that have nothing on them?
No, there are plenty.
Yeah, Lucy's just gonna pull out her pocket knife and carve an E into one of them.
Okay, just make a regular dexterity check to see how good this looks. So the knife is really big, and the bead is really small.
Yeah, it doesn't look that good. But
You hold out like this bangle, like this crafted, like expertly armed thing. It says it in like beautifully gilded script, and then there's just this giant E next to the H-I-E-I-D. Just a big uppercase E etched into it.
Could I try and add a little bit of flourish to it to make it try and look good, or would that still be a part of that dexterity check?
And that'd probably be a part of that too.
Okay. It still works. How good is the string?
The string is pretty crappy. It's just like kind of like fishing line. Nothing too impressive.
Can I just like can I pull out like the corpse of the record player and just start working on it after I make that?
Yeah, go ahead.
just trying to shrink it down, take it apart, all that, good stuff.
Yeah, gotcha. Meanwhile,
God damn it.
Oh. Shit.
in divination class, 4 of you walk into the room. It's literally just Leku, Julian, Piper, and Miriam, and you guys sort of waddle into
Hang
the
on.
room.
Something's a bit weird. Fucking
And
shift
outside it
She's
says
in the wrong spot.
it says Mr. Dianigo Leberschmidt, and underneath that it says Divination, Band, and Choir. And so as you walk in, the room has sort of this like step sort of like design to it. So you imagine for like rows of like band kids and choir kids like standing and sitting.
Yeah.
And it sort of goes out like in this descending motion up towards this singular little podium that has this crystal ball on top of it, and there's just no one in the room.
I fuck with the crystal ball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up.
So
I'm examining this fucking dog.
all right, go and make an investigation check.
Gotta get my character sheet up.
So you walk up and it's just this big like vaguely bowling ball sized sphere. It's just got like this misty like smoke like coalescing inside of it. And as you're sort of like poking and prodding, Piper will also kind of like come over and look at it. And as you're sort of just like staring at it, all of a sudden, Julian, you hear like this little like faint poof noise, and there's a hand leaning on your shoulder, and a voice says, "Hey, how's it going?"
What's up?
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
Where are your fingers?
Your mom's straight, or is she?
The hairs on the back of my neck
children
kind
commit
of
crimes.
stand up. God damn it. Fucking Vsauce.
And this guy is standing there. He's got like his arm around your shoulder, like leaning on you, like very suavely. The man is this. He looks elven. He's got the pointed ears, and he's standing, and he's got like this big fluffy, like yabbit on, like the big fluffy necktie, and he's got this black shirt, white suspenders, a backwards baseball cap that has a number 1 on the back, and he's wearing khakis.
Yeah, I kind of give him the up and down look as I try and suss out what this dude's style is.
He's a hipster, millennial, eccentric teacher trying to be cool.
He's something fierce, I'll tell you that.
He winks at you and he says, "Settle down, class. If everyone will please to take their seats." And they start like sparkles, sort of like rain down like confetti around him. There are no chairs anywhere in the room.
This guy definitely has a
Lecky's
friend.
already
awe.
sitting on one of the step things.
Leku this entire time has been like sneezing uncontrollably.
That potion he made.
He also has the hiccups.
Oh god.
No,
Yeah,
it went from hiccups to sneezing. It evolved.
And soon he'll be coughing up the blood of his enemy. I mean, what?
Coughing up the
Why-
blood of his enemies, not his own blood.
Yeah, why is the blood of your enemies in your mouth to begin with?
That's
Yeah,
all.
that's good.
That's just his way of coughing up his meal.
Oh, Piper's gonna go sit next to the sick kid. Oof. Good luck.
As soon as he sneezes, she like scoots across and like she just goes sits by Miriam.
The plague zone.
He sort of like
enter.
Quarantine.
he sort of shoos you away even after you're like well gone and like just walk away. And he says, "Welcome to divination!" And he kind of waves his arms, and more sparkles just kind of like go in like a wake as he just moves. And he says, "Here we will be studying the type of magic that is the hardest to learn." And he sort of wiggles his hands around, and a bunch of like symbols like make like a like sure thing like a flash of lightning, except like it's a bunch of like archaic designs and like just a strike of like light as he just flashes it. Underneath all of your seats, you will find your future. And he does like little jazz hands.
Oh god, not an Oprah.
I legitimately look under my seat.
As you look down, you're not sitting on a seat, you're just on a step, but you look and you're sitting on a fortune cookie.
Oh.
You get a fortune cookie. You get a fortune.
I pick up the fortune cookie, I suppose.
I consume
like
the cookie.
Do you break it open?
I wait for instructions.
He doesn't say anything.
I break
As-
mine
as
open and
Miriam
start eating it.
Julian, as your breaker's open, roll a d6.
Oh shit. A gun comes out. Rip.
Just found this gun in my kid's fortune cookie. Disgusting.
All right, Julian.
It's like covered in dust and shit.
You read you whip out the little piece of paper and it says that
Listens to cookies.
That's a fortune I can get behind.
He.
like do you open yours?
I'm gonna wait.
All right.
I put my ear to like the husk of the cookie.
You hear jazz music.
I look very shocked.
So I suppose we open these.
He nods.
Oh,
He
okay.
says, "I hope lunch wasn't too fulfilling, if you get what I'm saying." And he winks, and then more sparkles come out.
I crack mine open, I suppose.
6.
At least
What's
six.
filling?
Like a motion.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Go and roll again.
yeah, I have that one.
Sorry, no duos.
Whoa!
Oh.
Wow.
See,
Oh.
Really?
Like as you look up from the paper, the guy is right in front of you.
And Leku just has this fucking really look on his face.
And he like waves his hands around in like a bunch of weird like gestures. He says, "The future has been revealed." And then he teleports back over to the stand.
This person doesn't even walk.
Why walk when you can teleport?
Why walk when you can momentarily blink everywhere, yeah.
Piper has opened her cookie. She does not look happy.
But all of them?
Ooh, ouch.
Seems
Oh
legit.
shit.
that he rests his elbows on the podium and kind of like holds his head in his hands, and he like moving his feet back and forth. He says, "So we seem to be a bit of a small class. What are all your names?"
I look over at everyone else, like not trying not to be rude.
I have each half of my fortune cookie on each ear, bopping to the beats.
It's Neil Armstrong.
I need to get some like a head thing and create some portable fortune cookie earphones.
Hey fam, you know to hit me up.
I suppose I'll start. I'm Leku.
He says, "I knew you were going to say that."
Oh.
This guy's just a total sham. No, this is the philosophy degree for school equivalent.
He says, "And you," and he points at you, Julian.
I take off my Beats by Dr. Drizzle.
Beats by Dad.
Beats by Cookie.
Why did you tell me my name?
You're gonna break him.
He puts his hands on his temples
I put
and
mine on
closes his
mine.
eyes, and he says, "Your name is," and he like struggles for a second, and he says, "Jillian."
Teacher.exe has stopped working.
I look very shocked. Just like, it's almost right. It's pretty much right.
I was expecting Albert or something.
He like raises his eyebrows and says, "Really? Awesome!" And then
It was close enough.
he darts over to Miriam and says, "What's your name, miss?" And she says, "My name is Miriam." And he says, "Of course it is. And you?" And he points at Piper. And before she opens her mouth, he says, "Never mind, I don't care." And then he walks over to the
Savage.
Burn.
I play the Seinfeld theme on my bass.
What a banana.
He says, "I would like us to go around in a circle and say the thing we're most excited about in divination class."
Like,
Starting from which side?
a circle
He
around the
says-
table, or what do we? Oh shit!
Fucking really?
He points at Miriam. He says, "Starting with you."
It's a weird circle.
Clockwise or anti-clockwise?
He doesn't respond. He just keeps pointing at Miriam. She kind of like looks awkwardly, and she says, I don't know. What are we going to learn in this class?" And he says, "Save all questions till the end, please. You," and he points to you, Julian.
He leans in as if like talking into a microphone, very nervously. He says, "Getting questions answered at the end."
He says, "Amazing! And you?" And he points to Leku.
Learning in general.
He says, "Fantastic! We're gonna have loads of fun." And he points to Piper. And she just like gives him the stink eye, just like the most like hateful possible look she can muster.
Oh,
And he
Take
says,
one spite damage.
"Fantastic!" He says, "Looks like that's about all the time we have for today, so I'll let your kids skedaddle."
Oh my goodness.
And like 10 minutes, and you guys have like a 3-hour period.
yeah. I kind of look around like, oh.
Oh crap! Meanwhile,
How do you time it to where it's always in the quiet part between YouTube videos?
all right, so you guys sort of managed to finish all you guys' friendship bracelets. And he's just kind of standing there still, just like gazing off into space. I'm gonna go and put the token back.
you can't handle it anymore.
It's too funny to me. I'm gonna lose it. At one point, Varian walks over to the table with the boys, or at least 2 of them. And he says, "Do you guys have an O with an umlaut over it?"
What?
Oh.
What?
I mean, like,
Okay.
we have an O. Does that count?
He says, "No, Gar's name is written in fucking Orcish script, and there's no letter that translates the second. Never mind." And yeah, he walks over and starts talking to Gale.
Can I check if we actually have what he was looking for?
Yeah, you do. You just look down and you see it.
I'm going to just be like, Varian!
He turns around.
I'm going to try to pick up the bead and hold it up.
Make a dexterity check. It's really small.
Fuck. I got the bead.
Hey.
Yeah, so you sort of hold it up in the air, and he comes over and he says, "Oh, yeah, thanks, man." And he takes it from you, and he just kind of waddles back over to the table. And after some time progresses, he eventually says, "That's enough!" And he waves the brush in the air, and then all the strings and beads that aren't on a bracelet kind of zoom back into the box. And he says, "Now, we'll go over some arts and crafts procedures." And procedures is scribbled onto the chalkboard by a floating piece of chalk and then underlined.
Not lithium.
Not lithium.
And he says, "In arts and class, you're going to learn very little." He says, "This is mainly going to be a period for you to construct magical items, magical clothing, magical foods, practice your spellcraft and enchanting, or make macaroni bracelets. Any questions? Amazing!" And he goes back to his desk and doesn't say anything else.
So, like, we done here?
We done here.
He does not
Busted.
respond.
Busted.
Do we just wait until he dismiss us, or do we head out the door now?
Todd says, "Later, nerds," and he like shoves past Gale and he just walks out the door.
Is he just gonna get up and actually go walk over to the box?
Gar and Varian kind of walk out, and then Gar turns to Dante and Yurdle and says, "Smell you losers later," and they walk out the door.
You're not giving the stuff.
He says, "It was playful," and then he leaves.
I give him like a stare.
Okay. I think we should still do it for the reputation.
Yeah.
Oh, Leslie, do you open the box?
Yeah.
Respect plus.
Yeah, respect gained.
Mr.
Play
Cooper sort
San
of walks
Antonio
over and he
theme.
says, "Wait!
Or San Andreas theme road.
Which one?
He says, "We're going to go over the box next week when classes begin."
Lizzie's just gonna cross her arms and just stand with like, are you fucking serious?
He looks over to Dante and Yurdle and Gale, and he says, "Fine!" And he opens the box, and
Shit, man, here we go. The thing I've been waiting for the longest.
he pulls out like a little piece of paper from his like cloak, and he hands it to you, and he says, "Inside are the listed materials available for students. Simply state them, and they will come to you." And you go to the stands of the desks.
What are they?
Okay, so it's a like very long list. It has stuff like empty vials. It has all these different ingredients for magical things. It has all these different enchanting materials. It's this whole list of all this stuff. It has like basic tools like screwdrivers and hammers and stuff. And there are a couple things that seem like oddities to you, like weapons, like battle axe and mace are on the list. There's like optics. There's like microscopes. There's all these like crazy different things that are all like on the list. It's basically like a chest of many things kind of situation where it has a lot of stuff in it.
How much time do we have left?
It's only been like 10 minutes.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm just give me one moment. I'm digging through my class to see what stuff I could potentially build.
All right. Meanwhile, are you guys all still in the room?
Oh, I am.
I would like to ask a few questions. Yeah.
he turns to you and says, yes.
Once
ask
everyone's
away."
gone, of course.
he turns to everyone else.
Like, Lego isn't saying this, he's just sitting there waiting.
Oh, okay. So, you guys enjoying school?
Yeah, for the most part. Are
He
you?
nods. He says, "Cool, cool." He says, "Oh yeah, it's been great. Having a great time. You know, just looking forward to." Yeah.
What's the crystal ball do?
He says, "Oh, the crystal ball. You know, you can scry with it and see the
Wow.
future
Oh, you
and
can see the future.
oh yeah, all the time.
Oh shit! I need Jesus. And memes.
Send memes, please.
Send memes.
How
All right.
memes
Yeah, I can hear again.
Okay,
What?
good.
That was fucking
did
weird.
you do, Alex?
Nothing. Just oh god, why is Jesus in it? He came. I requested and he arrived.
Through a window, though. You're like, he's not there actually. He's just through a window.
Well, yeah. That's as close
He's
as
just
it ever
outside.
gets.
He's outside.
Jesus. Jesus flies by the windows in the classroom.
I guess religion confirmed.
That's canon now.
You asked about seeing the future, and he said,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I see you guys get out of my classroom."
I mean, I got something I kind of need to ask you in private about weird things that are happening. So,
He says, "Oh, well then everyone else can leave then, right?" And he turns to Leku, Miriam, and Piper.
I have a few questions in my spare time, but I can wait.
I mean, I could put on my headphones and you guys can, yeah.
Headphones?
I put on my.
He holds up both pieces of fortune cookie, just puts them into his ears.
Okay.
Piper just like storms out, and then Miriam just kind of eventually awkwardly, like she goes to like leave, and then she taps Julian on the shoulder.
I look and take off an earphone.
She says, after dinner, meet me at the freshman house."
Well, of course.
She nods, and then she waddles off.
I look curiously, as all I can imagine now is a duck. Everyone seems to be waddling.
Miriam becomes a duck.
Oh shit. I
duck
my
formation.
fortune cookie and lay back.
As I'm walking down to the teacher, I'd like to do an Arcana check on that crystal orb.
All right, go ahead. Oh boy, okay.
Yep, it magic.
Leku, you've never seen a crystal ball before, but you've read about them, and this is most certainly an actual crystal ball. This is a fortune telling and scrying like focus or like sort of medium.
Have I ever read how to use one?
With a 21, I'll say yes. I'm not gonna say like you've never done it before, so you would not like you don't totally know what you're
But
doing,
I've
but you know
read
the standard
how.
procedure. Yeah.
Fucking malad.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to the teacher and look up at him and say, "Are you actually the divination teacher?"
He nods. He says, "Of course, it's my job. That's why I'm here." He says, "I'm a bit of a what you call a clairvoyant," and he winks.
Then tell me something that's going to happen tomorrow.
He says, "Oh, of course. Let me look." And he just kind of looks at the ball for a second. And he says, "Oh, looks like the freshmen have a math class tomorrow. How weird, am I right? Who knew that was going to happen?"
Something unscripted. Or unobvious.
He says,
Otherwise, I'm going to think of reporting you as being inadequate for this position.
He
Oh,
points a
shit.
finger at you and he says, "Hey, now let's all cool down for a second. Okay, I'll predict a little something for you."
Going to get shanked if you fuck with this teacher boy.
You're gonna get shanked, and he's gonna predict that you are shanked.
He kind of looks at the bone and he says, I predict that you won't make it to sophomore year, pal. And he kind of gives you a little pat on the head. And
One last question.
he's like facing away from you. He's facing away from you, and he like very slowly turns back and he says, "Yes."
May I have a try at the crystal orb before I go?
He says, "Oh yeah, sure. Knock yourself out." And he sort of waves dismissively at it. And he goes up to Julian and kind of pokes him on the shoulder.
I'm facing him as he pokes me.
Yeah.
I see him approach. I stand up and put away my new headphones.
He says, "All right, what do you want so I can get you out of here? What do you need to ask?"
Yeah, well, I arrived here the other day, and I went to bed, and I'm pretty sure I had some kind of weird vision.
He says, "Oh, cool. Me too."
Every time you go to bed? What's going on?
He says, "Yeah, all the time. Every time.
Huh?
All day, every day."
I
Well,
walk into that.
I asked the defense teacher, Mr. Guy.
Oh, Mr. Rowan, yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he
man,
said
he
you were
sure-
the dude to come
He
to.
loves visions and dreams.
He does?
Says, I have no idea. What's with the vision? You have a wet dream or something?
No, well, there was water in the dream, but not on me. It was in the pond outside, with the tree and the clock. And then there's a blossom lady, and she's like, hey, people are coming for you, you gotta find some things.
He says, yeah, I have scary dreams too, but don't worry, just take some melatonin.
What's melatonin?
I can confirm that actually doesn't prevent nightmares.
Not yet.
All my time taking it, it's never prevented them.
I mean, just take it with magic. That clearly works.
Take it with magic.
It's magically enchanted melatonin.
An
Yeah,
enchanted
melatonin.
dream catcher that actually works.
Magitonin?
God.
Magitonin.
He says, yeah, I'll get you a bottle. And
Oh no.
How long have you been at this school for?
I'm gonna try out my
mister?
speed photoshopping skills.
Oh
So
no.
what the hell did I miss?
You've been working at
Why?
this school long, sir?
He says, yeah, 4 years.
How long has the school been open?
He says, oh, boy, it was established like a couple, like, years after the awakening itself happened. It was pretty quick on the scene.
I don't suppose there's any weird divine thing you can throw my way to kind of make sure I'm not in any kind of immediate danger from people.
He says, what, you want like a shield?
More like a prediction for the future. My future.
He says, a prediction. Yeah, I predict that everything's just gonna be just fine.
Can I insight this dude? What's he doing?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, this guy's full of shit. You see, like you're kind of like looking at him as he's talking. You're pretty sure he's not lying about how long he's taught at the school or anything. But he's just like pulling this stuff out of nowhere. Like you're pretty sure he has no idea what he's talking about.
Do you know anyone who might be a bit more knowledgeable in this area?
He says, "All right, listen. I was hired by Headmaster Dorian himself to work here as your divination teacher, so I think that I'm the best person for the job."
Incoming news: the principal's actually incompetent.
Oh god.
It's more
Oh,
of bad, I would say.
I mean, he knows this guy. I could be an actual divinationist. He just gets possessed. But
I'm gonna go.
He says, "All right, see you later," and he tosses you the magic tonin bottle.
Grab it.
trademark.
Trademark magic tonin.
Oh my god, no! Oh dear lord.
He says, "All right, now scram!" And he sort of shoots you out with both hands. Oh.
I should not have rolled.
Jeff, tied around your wrist, you've got this fish string that just says Todd.
What?
You were partnered with Todd because apparently neither of you wanted to work with Alasia.
Oh, that works. So, so that's not a very good omen for my rolls tonight. I hope I don't roll anywhere near that bad.
No, you're rolling out the ones on useless stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I
take a
Mr.
one now.
Diego kind of like turns to you and he says, "Go and turn the lights off when you leave, kid." And he does little finger guns and he disappears in a puff of smoke.
Okay.
Don't forget to lock the door.
Even though you don't have keys, lock the door.